Emerald Tablets, Tablet 13, the keys of life and death. List ye, O man, hear ye the wisdom, hear ye the word that shall fill thee with life. Hear ye the word that shall banish the darkness, hear ye the voice that shall banish the night. Mystery and wisdom have I brought to my children, knowledge and power descended from old. Know ye not that all shall be opened, when ye shall find the oneness of all? One shall ye find, one shall ye be with the master of mystery, conquerors of death and masters of life. Aye, ye shall learn of the flower of Amenti, the blossom of life that shines in the halls. In spirit shall ye reach the halls of Amenti, and bring back the wisdom that liveth in light. Know ye the gateway to power is secret. Know ye the gateway to life is through death. Aye, through death, but not as ye know it, death, but a death that is life, and is fire, and is light. Desirest thou to know the deep hidden secret? Look in thy heart, where the knowledge is bound. Know that in thee the secret is hidden, the source of all life, and the source of all death. List ye, O man, while I tell the secret. Reveal unto thee the secret of old. Deep in the earth's heart lies the flower, the source of the spirit that binds all in its form. For know ye that the earth is living in body, and as thou art alive in thy own formed form. The flower of life is as thine own place of spirit, and streams through the earth as thine flows through thy form. Giving of life to the earth and its children, renewing the spirit from form unto form. This is the spirit that is formed in thy body, shaping and molding into its form. Know ye, O men, that thy form is dual, balanced in polarity while formed in its form. Know that when fast on thee death approaches, it is only because thy balance is shaken. It is only because one pole has been lost. Know that thy body, when in perfect balance, may never be touched by the finger of death. Aye, even accident may only approach when the balance is gone. When ye are in a balanced equilibrium, ye shall live on in time, and not taste of death. Know that thou art the balanced completion, existing because of thy balance of poles. As in thee one pole is drawn downward, fast from thee goes the balance of life. Then unto thee cold death approaches, and change must come to thine unbalanced life. Know that the secret of life in Amenti is the secret of restoring the balance of poles. All that exists has form and is living because of the spirit of life in its poles. See ye not that in earth's heart is the balance of all things that exist and have being on its face? The source of thy spirit is drawn from earth's heart, for in thy form thou art one with the earth. When thou hast learned to hold thine own balance, then shalt thou draw on the balance of earth. Exist then shalt thou while earth is existing, changing in form only when earth too shall change. Tasting not of death, but one with this planet, holding thy form till all pass away. List ye, O man, whilst I give the secret, so that ye too shalt taste not of change. 1 hour each day shalt thou lie with thine head pointed to the place of the positive pole, north. 1 hour each day shalt thy head be pointed to the place of the negative pole, south. Whilst thy head is placed to the northward, hold thou thy consciousness from the chest to the head. And when thy head is placed to the southward, hold thou thy thought from the chest to the feet. Hold thou in balance once in each 7, and thy balance will retain the whole of its strength. Hold thou in balance once in each 7, and thy balance will retain the whole of its strength. Aye, if thou be of old, thy body will freshen, and thy strength will become as a youth's. This is the secret known to the masters, by which they hold off the fingers of death. Neglect not to follow the path I have shown, for when thou hast passed beyond years to 100, to neglect it will mean the coming of death. Hear ye my words, and follow this pathway. Keep thou thy balance, and live on in life. Hear ye, O man, and list to my voice. List to the wisdom that gives thee of death. When at the end of thy work appointed, thou may desire to pass from this life, pass to the plain where the sons of the morning live, and have being as children of light. Pass without pain and pass without sorrow into the plain where is eternal light. First lie at rest with thine head to the eastward. Fold thou thy hands at the source of thy life, the solar plexus. Place thou thy consciousness in the life seat. Whirl it and divide it to north and to south. Send thou one out toward the northward. Send thou the other out to the south. Relax and thou thy hold upon thy being. Forth from thy form will thy silver spark fly. Upward and onward to the sun of the morning, blending with light, at one with its source. There it shall flame till desire shall be created, then shall return to a place in a form. Know ye, O men, that thus pass the great souls, changing at will from life into life. Thus ever passes the avatar, willing his death as he will in his own life. The key to the placing of consciousness at the time of death, so that memory may be carried from one incarnation to another. The key to the placing of consciousness at the time of death, so that memory may be carried from one incarnation to another. List ye, O man, drink of my wisdom. Learn ye the secret that is master of time. Learn ye how those ye call masters are able to remember the lives of the past. Great is the secret, yet easy to master, giving to thee the mastery of time. When upon thee death fast approaches, fear not, but know ye are a master of death. Relax thy body, resist not with tension. Place in thy heart the flame of thy soul. Swiftly then sweep it to the seat of the triangle, the pineal gland. Hold for a moment, then move to the goal. This thy goal is the place between thine eyebrows, the place where the memory of life must hold sway. Hold thou thy flame here in thy brain seat until the fingers of death grasp thy soul. Then, as thou pass through the state of transition, surely the memories of life shall pass too. Then shall the past be as one with the present. Then shall the memory of all be retained. Free shalt thou be from all retrogression. The things of the past shall live in today. Man, ye have heard the voice of my wisdom. Following, and ye shall live through the ages as I. The Secrets of Atlantis. By a great many people, Atlantis is looked on as a legendary continent which never had real existence. The only account we have of Atlantis is the one by Plato in his dialogue with Timaeus, where he says his grandfather was told by the Egyptian priests that their ancestors came from a land in the Western Ocean. This was supposed to happen have been destroyed by the sinking of the land some 12,000 years before. It is true that few traces of their culture can be found today, but the Atlanteans left records that are still preserved by the wisdom schools. The sinking of Atlantis was the source of the universal legends of a deluge, as recorded in the Old Testament, and in the folklore of almost every race in the world. The ancient records of Atlantis tell us that the sinking of Atlantis was brought about because the souls of Atlanteans, who had developed such a tremendous knowledge about the cosmic and natural laws, had passed on to a higher plane. Atlanteans of the last days were mostly souls that were low in the scale of development, yet they had access to the mighty science developed by their ancestors. This science was so great that if used improperly, it could have destroyed the world. The people had deteriorated until they were no longer worthy to have access to the vast knowledge and wisdom that they had inherited from their ancestors. The souls that occupied the bodies of those in the later period of the Atlantean Age were souls that were low in development. By the end of the Atlantean Age, great advances had been made in the sciences and in the arts. For instance, they had developed flying machines that were capable of tremendous speeds, able to fly to the moon and back, and encircle the world in less than an hour. These ships were of very high light metal, similar to aluminum, but much harder than steel. They were very magnetic and susceptible to the magnetic currents of Earth and of space. They were made of an alloy obtained by the action of sodium on sesquichloride of chromium subjected to electrical and magnetic stress. I don't know what that means. They were not affected by heat or cold, and even at cruising speed, capable of traveling 1,000 miles an hour or more. They were powered by a helix of 7 wires, the central one the greatest in diameter. Each alternate one was coiled in the opposite direction. These were collectors of magnetic current. 2 12-foot antennae on the outside of the ship were connected to the wires of the 2 helixes. These wires extended to the inner wall of the ship and were coiled in opposite directions around the ship over its entire length. The 7 wires of each standard extended in radiation, those of one crossing those of the others, and were wound around the entire body of the ship as a core, which could be turned or moved in any direction on bearings. The current could be slowed or sped up in its movement through these coils, thus advancing or retarding the speed of the ship or its distance from the Earth. Each ship projected around itself a field force which prevented friction of the air from acting upon the ship. Also, through the use of their advanced science, they were able to suspend the gravity within the ship so that those who were on it were not affected by the tremendous speeds. That goes back to my ionic bubble research that I did. With such ships, sailing vessels on the seas were unnecessary, for they were able to go their far-flung colonies very quickly and without effort on their part. The buildings of Atlantis, as their colonies, were not composed of bricks, or stones, and metal, as those of later date, but were created by fixing patterns of force in suspension and attracting around them vortices of cosmic dust. I'll stop right there because this video is going to be long enough. But I also wanted to say, I love you all. Love, peace, chicken grease.